Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Carmine from New York with another photo class. What a day I had today. Today is a holiday here in New York, and I don't know, is it a holiday across the United States? I don't even know. But it's June 20th, 2022. I believe the holiday is Juneteenth. And a lot of businesses are closed, the public schools are definitely closed. And I got up this morning very early and I said, the sky is blue, clear, air pollution was, I think, at 0, and it was 59 degrees for June 20th here in the city. I says, and the humidity was extremely low. So, what did I do? I packed up my Olympus OMD E-M1 Mark II and this gorgeous, incredible, sharp, humongous Olympus lens. This is the 100 to 400 millimeter Olympus lens with image stabilization. Now, the equivalent in 35 millimeter speak, don't forget, this is a Beast 4/3. I don't call it micro 4/3. I like to call it Beast 4/3 sensor, which means that it's exactly half the size of a full frame 35 millimeter sensor. So the math is easy when you calculate how much magnification or zoom range this lens or any lens for the micro 4/3 system will do. You just double it. So this 100 to 400, this is the f5 to f6.3 lens. It's equal to a 200 to 800 millimeter lens if this was mounted on a full frame, either 35 millimeter film or 35 millimeter FX full frame sensor. 800 millimeters without a tele extender, a 2x extender, or whatever extender you want to use. Now, let's talk about this system and then we'll get right into what I did today. So this is the Olympus OMD E-M1 Mark II mirrorless system. Electronic viewfinder. Beautiful, gorgeous electronic viewfinder with an incredible flippy screen, right? Let's go look at it from the front. Okay, the flippy screen, right? For vlogging, it of course it does video, right? But I don't use it ever for video. I'm not a video guy. In fact, I'm filming on my Android Samsung cell phone. Here's why I told you guys in a lot of videos already that I sold one body that I really wasn't using that much, my Nikon D850. I sold that and was able to purchase an entire system secondhand from mpb.com. They're not a sponsor. I'll let you know when somebody becomes a sponsor. I bought the whole system, telephoto lenses, body, battery grip, for just the price of selling it was minty, my D850. So one of the selling points is this screen, even though I don't use it for video. I am a big macro guy, okay? Up here, okay, you can see one of my macro shots, right? I love macro. Now, a lot of macro is done down low. And what a perfect system. Not with this lens. It's not. You could take macro with this, and I have, from standing up like 6 feet away. I've taken great macro shots with it. But when you're down low, you just take the screen. Camera's low, screen's facing up. Or if I'm doing photojournalist work, camera up, screen facing down. So all I have to do is look up and shoot over a crowd. Wonderful, wonderful tilty screen in the back. Me, since I'm a photographer for 50 years, I keep it closed. I not only keep it closed, but I keep it with the screen on the inside. I only open it after I've taken, 30, 40 shots. I'll hit playback and I'll make sure that, all systems are working, that it's recording onto one of the 2 dual SD cards. It takes 2 SD cards, right? One I shoot JPEG, one I shoot RAW. So this system, now of course, if I say to you that it's a light system, it's not light right now with this lens. But if I just put on for example, a pancake lens, the Olympus 9mm pancake lens, it's the size of a body cap. In fact, let me get it. Remember the old saying, your camera can't fall down if you keep it down, right? Let me just get that lens. Hold on, it's right here. Hold on, boys and girls. The old Carmine is standing up. Okay, see? That didn't take long. Okay, I'm back. I'm really excited about that lens. Okay? Look at this. There's a lens in here. This is a real Olympus lens in here. I'm so excited about it. And I've used it for landscape shots. In fact, if you guys remember the sensor size queen video I did at the ship graveyard, I used that lens there. Check this out. This is the Olympus 9mm f2.8 fisheye. Now, it says fisheye, but it does not have the fisheye, the curvature, perfectly straight. Look at this lens. Look at the size of this lens. And it has the back cap on it. This is the real size of the lens, right here. Okay, built-in lens cap. Let me see, get the light. Built-in lens cap. There it is. And then you have choices of infinity, right? Infinity. It's a manual focus lens. Infinity, like 10 feet to infinity, and then what they call close-up, which is 0.2 meters, right? I just keep it in the middle, right? Basically, everything is always in focus when you use a lens like this. It's called a body cap lens, okay? But it's a real lens with real Olympus elements, right? This isn't one of those crappy body cap, oops, I dropped the lens cap. It's not one of those crappy body cap pinhole lenses where it's just a body cap with a hole drilled in it, right? No, this is not that. This is a real lens with real glass elements, and then you close the back. Sorry, you close the front like that, and it keeps itself protected. Tiny little thing. So getting back, how did this all start? How did we get onto this? Light. This camera is not light with this lens, but it is light with this lens. Incredible. Let me put this on the side. I've dropped enough things today. Okay, so I even had to take the lens hood off of this. It'd be too obnoxious for when I'm filming this video. Okay, so a lot of guys have been asking me, Carm, why'd you sell your Nikon D850? Carm, professional camera. Listen, I still have my other Nikon DSLRs. All right, so everybody calm down. In fact, just the other video, I took out the D3, my D700, my absolute favorite cameras of all time. Anyway, so I mentioned in the other video this week, 60 frames per second, guys. Whoops, did I put it back in? Yeah. Oops, sorry. Sorry for all that noise. So, 60 frames per second when it's in silent mode. Guys, 60 frames per second. We're talking about if you wanted to capture motion, right? A baseball pitch, an arrow going through a balloon, hitting a light bulb with a hammer. Oh, I've been doing that shot since the 1970s when I started photography school. In a dimly lit room, of course, with a big plastic top on the floor. I take up a light bulb. You know, the old-fashioned regular tungsten light bulbs. I put it in a vise, which is a tool that clamps on to things. I would put the light bulb in this vise, not too tight, just make sure it wouldn't move. And then I would shut all the lights off in the room, total darkness. And back then I had to use the shutter cable release. Let me see if I can grab it. Everything's so far away. Right? Had to use the shutter cable release, where when you press the plunger down, right, the pin comes out and fires the shutter. So I would have the cable release in one hand, and I would have a hammer in the other hand, where I practiced getting very close to the light bulb, and I would have the camera shutter cable in one hand, the hammer in the other one, and 1, 2, 3, and I would have to time it. Boom! Take the picture as the hammer hit the bulb. Boom! Boom! I would go through quite a few light bulbs, but don't forget, now this is the 70s. These were the only kind of bulbs you had in the house, and a bulb would blow out. If you had a regular sized house, a regular, 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom house, you were changing a light bulb at least once every 2 weeks. A light bulb would burn out. Because don't forget, you got them outside on the porch, you got them in bedrooms, bathrooms, the kitchen. Anyway, I would tell my family, don't throw out the burnt out bulb. So we had like this little box, and as soon as we would get like 5 of them, I would go and I would do these pictures. And sure enough, I'm going to dig it out. I'm going to dig out that picture. The picture came out gorgeous. You can see just a little bit of the vise, the metal holding the bulb. You see the bulb and you see the hammer, but then you see all the broken pieces of glass flying, right? And because the room was in total darkness, right, the flash only lit up the bulb and the broken glass, right? That photograph won me not only an award, a photo award, but it got picked up by the local paper, and they printed it in the paper. And don't forget, now I was in high school when this happened. This was in the 70s. So that was a big deal. And I will dig out that photograph, and I promise I will show you that picture. Okay. How did we get to that? I don't even know. I don't know how we ended up there. But anyway, so 60 frames per second. So this camera takes 60 frames per second. The camera I used back then was a film camera, and it took one frame. One frame. one frame. You hit the plunger, one frame. So you had to really have skills back then. This makes it easy. 60 frames per second on this Olympus. Okay. 20 megapixel sensor, more than enough. I'm going to show you the photographs in a few seconds at the end that I took today on the holiday Juneteenth, right? June 20th, 2022. Let's keep going. Why did I sell my Nikon D850 for this? How about this? Besides everything I just mentioned, 5 axes of in-body image stabilization. Built in. That means whatever lens you use, whether it has its own optical image stabilized lens or not, like manual focus lens. Let's say you buy an Olympus lens that has no stabilization in it at all in the lens. The camera will give you 5 axes of in-body image stabilization. All right. The Pro lenses from Olympus, that gives you up to 7 because the optical image stabilization talks to the IBIS and it really gives you a steady shot. Okay. Anyway, so this one has its own image stabilization, which works independently of the IBIS, the in-body image stabilization. All right, let's keep going. ISO max is 25,600. The native ISO is 200. That's generally what I shoot at because we are dealing with a smaller sensor. So you want to stick to, if possible, you want to stick to the native ISO, which is 200, to give you basically, you'll see the photographs, basically noise-free. Now you're going to see some photographs that I had to crop, deep crop, and you'll see a little noise. But the photo was well worth it. Don't forget, guys, noise is another word for grain, and every film photograph you take has grain. So seeing a little noise in your photograph is not crappy. It's normal. Okay, let's keep going. I told you about it has dual SD card slots. Weather sealed. This camera is weather sealed. A little rain, a little snow won't affect it. This lens also happens to be weather sealed. It has all rubber gaskets around the lens where the lens meets the body. Okay. So anyway, this lens, this 100 to 400 comes with the hood, right? It also comes with tripod collar. I took it off because I shot today only handheld. I went out to do some nature photography, and you're going to see those pictures in a minute. All right, let me lay this down. Okay. Oh, here's another thing. If you get the Olympus, if you get this OMD E-M1 Mark II, you can get the accessory grip, right? Here's why I do it. Number one, I have big hands, so this makes it even nicer to hold. But you could put a battery inside the camera, right where it normally goes, and you could put a second battery in the grip. 2 batteries. I'm not going to say it'll last all day. This is a eater of battery power, all right? Because you have so many things going on, right? Electronic viewfinder, not like a DSLR, right? Where it's an optical viewfinder. You're just looking straight out through a prism and out through the lens. This is an electronic viewfinder. So you always have a little monitor going on. If you have your back screen on, that's another source. But you have your IBIS, your in-body image stabilization. It takes energy to keep that sensor constantly centered, okay? So I'm not going to say it's great on battery use. When I first got the camera, right, I bought 2 Wasabi aftermarket batteries for it, which I highly, highly recommend. Wasabi from Amazon, best camera bodies for any system. Nikon, Olympus, Fuji. Wasabi is top notch. So I had 2 batteries, right? And after I went shooting, I go, you know what? I need another 2. Because the way I was going through batteries, I was like, oh, if I'm out and I don't have access to my charger or a wall outlet or a car charger, I'm going to be screwed. So I got 4 batteries now, which I would say it's as necessary as having a lens on your camera. Okay, so put this down. Okay, so what did I do today? When I got up and I saw it was so beautiful out and it was cool, it was 69, it was just 59, it was like in the 60s. Blue sky, humidity was like 24%. That's like Vegas humidity, very, very low. And when the humidity is low, you feel cooler. Okay, I grabbed this lens and this body and I went out to a state park that has a pond/lake. You'd be surprised on how many people get upset when you use the wrong term for a body of water. It's not a lake, it's a pond. It's not a pond, it's a lake. Oh my God. People have to get over themselves. Anyway, so every time when you go to these places, a pond or a lake and looking for birds, the first thing that happens when you get there is you see nothing. And you're like, within 60 seconds, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a waste of time. Wait till you see these pictures. I was only down at this pond for 20 minutes and then I came back home. Wait till you see the pictures I got. I not only got some bird shots, but I got some wildlife shots that I think came out pretty cool. All right, guys? So, did I cover everything today? Yes. So what we're going to look at today, right now, is let's look at the photographs I took today with this setup. With the Olympus OMD E-M1 Mark II camera and the Olympus 100-400 telephoto zoom lens. All right, let's look at those photographs right now. And don't forget, comment below and subscribe. That's all you gotta do. Okay, guys, take it easy. Let's look at those pictures right now. Here we go.